Another season off and running at Columbia College, and that means time for another season of the Cougar Coaches Show. My name is Cosmo from Zimmer Radio Group, and here at Columbia College with me, the head coach of the volleyball squad, Coach Melinda Roy Washington. Coach, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Yes, glad to be back.
Summer went by way too fast.
Way too quick.
As it seems like it always does. Quickly back to last year, your team runs all the way to the national title match. You get the big emotional win over Texas at Brownsville. It had become quite a national powerhouse rival of yours, and that everybody's seen by now that awesome photo and that moment of your team being able to celebrate that. And I think that was included in about all of your seniors' favorite moments in the banquet. But you get that close to the national championship, and then, as coaches do, you strip it all down and start all over.
Yep. We lost a lot of great senior leadership, so it's been a very busy preseason. Trying to get everyone acclimated to our systems and figuring out each girl. We have a lot of newcomers this year, but we're excited. We're excited to be playing, excited to be out there and in competition.
And when you got things on the jump, the team now 7-2 on the season to start. You jump right into the fire. That team I mentioned, Texas at Brownville, was here, and they did give you your first loss, and we'll talk about that in a minute, if that's still safe to talk about around here. As you guys have done for a long time, you schedule a gauntlet right out of the gate. I mean, there's no hiding the fact that in order to try and win another national championship, you got to play the best teams as often as you can, and you head in some of the best programs in the country here at Southwell.
Yeah, I like to know what the difficulties are going to be right up front. It's easier to fix things throughout the season than go into a national championship situation not knowing where your weaknesses are. I've always been one to schedule difficult up front so that we know what those weaknesses are so that we can fix them throughout the season. If you recall, Texas at Brownsville beat us 3-0 last year in the beginning of the season, and it was ugly, and we weren't happy about it, and we let that sit all season long and brew and work, and in the end, in the long run, we ended up beating them and going to the national championship, and it ended up being a good thing. At the time when you're being beaten, It doesn't seem so good, but right. It pays off in the end, and it lets your girls know or your team know where they need to get and how much better they need to get, and it tends to make them work harder in practice.
I think a lot of times, especially early in a season, not to say they don't matter. I mean, it certainly matters, and yeah, you want to win every match you can. I think a lot of people forget, you get a couple early losses or something in a scheduling situation like that. Ultimately, in the big picture of things, it really doesn't matter. It's more important to get, like you said, that barometer of where the girls are at and where your team is at.
Right, and we have a lot of teams that hide in the rankings. I'm a national rater, so this year one of the emphasis was we needed to rank according to strength of schedule. And going in, I really emphasized that to our AMC coaches as well. Park, Missouri Baptist, all those other teams that are showing up in the rankings, that they needed a stronger schedule this year. So very important to get the strength of schedule up to par because last year there were some undefeated teams that hid throughout the national rating, and the ratings committee agreed that wasn't going to happen anymore, that teams that were trying to hide or scheduling soft to get wins throughout the season weren't going to be continuously moving up in the rankings. So I wanted to make sure that we had chances early, chances in the midseason, and a couple of chances late to prove ourselves if needed.
And again, into that match with Texas at Brownsville, take us through that. That's going to be another motivating factor. I'm sure that's being used as a motivator already for your girls.
It is, and they were machine-like. I mean, they were returned most of their seniors. I think they only had one position switch, which was a setter, and libero. I guess two major position switches, but all their outside hitters remained. Both their middle hitters remained from last year's team. So they were operating machine-like, and it was good for my girls to see that. We competed. I mean, we were right there with them. We traded points. I think we tied the score in set one at maybe 16 or 17, and then we tied set two, maybe 21. Maybe that's reversed. But, we were right there. We were tying scores and just not able to finish. I think that they, with the experience that they had, they were able to push through and finish. But we were right there. They are a very, very good team, and I believe that they're the team to look out for this year. I did schedule it mid-season, 3-4 weeks from now. We're going to play University of Texas at Brownsville. We're going to play Biola, and we're going to play Concordia. So that's number 1, number 2, and number 3 in this week's ranking. That we're all going to get together and play each other. So that'll be an interesting weekend to see exactly where everyone fits.
I think the same mindset with those programs.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to play the best competition there is, again, for everybody to to get an idea of where the team is at. Let's talk about the actual players on the squad. You got, as you mentioned, some turnover. Of course, the great Paula Fajeda, who's now on your bench, so you can still pick her vast volleyball brain, but at the same time, she's not on the court in jersey number 7. But talk about the new weapons that you have on the court.
Well, first of all, I'm having a little trouble hearing you because Paula sits right there on the bench next to me, and she's been wearing me out here for the past few games. Her voice is very loud. She's really adapted well to coaching, and it's really nice to have her with me still on the bench and coaching the new young athletes. I think first is Liddy Van Dersen, our new setter that's come in. She's done a great job. She's not a setter. We actually brought in 2 setters this year, the first of which came into the college atmosphere and shows that she didn't want to play volleyball anymore, which was quite a surprise to us because Liddy has actually always been a libero, and she's transitioning into that setter role now. So Paula has just, that's kind of why my ear's a little testy today, because Paula is constantly shouting instructions to her from the bench, because we have basically a non-setter setting our offense that's still learning. She is a very good setter. She really wants to train at that position, and she's been learning just nonstop. She's very, very intelligent person, comes in with great grades, and she is a true student athlete, somebody that we really, it's easier to coach someone like that has just really excelled in the classroom as well as on the court. But she's learning every day. She's getting better. She's committed to getting better, which means her work ethic is very good. So I think I would start with her as a newcomer. Other newcomers this year, outside hitter Paula Rosa, Ven Han, who is from China, Paulina Severina, who hasn't actually played a regular season game yet. She was actually coming in as one of our projected starters for this year's team, even amongst our returners. So we've taken some hits. We lost Brooke Simpson, of course, who was a returner from last year's team to an ACL. So we've had a really rough road injury-wise, but
Yeah,
some nice
that
talent
early
out there.
curveball for Brooke, and Brooke is heartbreaking for any of the athletes with the injuries. I know soccer team had a similar situation with a new player with an injury that before the season even starts, they're already done, and you just feel bad and know that they were so ready to play, and Brooke was such a big part as the outside hitter for that team a year ago, and now she's also helping from the bench, if you will, unfortunately.
Yeah, she. Last year's team, Paula was obviously the leader of our offense and set a good example in practice. But when it came to vocal leadership, it was Brooke on the court. Brooke had more responsibility. She was our L1. She was our strongest outside last year. Had passing responsibilities in the back row, defensive responsibilities, as well as her hitting and blocking responsibilities in the front row, and just did a tremendous job all the way through nationals in that role. To lose her the way we did, we lost her in a preseason scrimmage this year, was huge impact on this year's team. And then additionally, at that point during that scrimmage, Paulina Severina, who is a 6'5" outside hitter from Moscow, Russia, went down as well. And she's projected to be back. She's still in a recovery process right now, but that's your L1 and your L2. Both outside hitters are now out. And then a week later we played Brownsville. So, we have a huge learning curve here. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got young players, young to our program, and young just in general freshmen. We have freshmen playing on the court that need to adapt and fit in very quickly.
And we'll talk about their adapting and what lies ahead. And we also have to bring up the infamous streak that is now we're starting over. It's 1-0.
Good.
That's the new streak. We'll come back and talk more volleyball at Columbia College with the coach. We'll into our Washington after this.